Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the morning brief. It's Wednesday, midweek, October 4th, and what do we have going on today? 8:15, we had U.S. number ADP non-farm employment change, which was only 89,000. This is terrible. So maybe this is the first chink in the labor market. That's just a horrible, horrible number for ADP non-farm. So I'm sure the market, I don't know whether the market's going to say, hey, this means that there's no interest rate hikes. Okay, so maybe bad news equals good news. Or they realize that, hey, this is fundamentally bad news. Maybe we could actually retract and turn into a recession. So it's really hard to interpret how these numbers are going to be interpreted by the market, but that's certainly the possibility. At 9:45 we have final services PMI. At 10 a.m. we have ISM services PMI as well as factory orders. ISM is a red item, so we want to be aware of that at 10 o'clock. 10:25 we have FOMC member Bowman speaking. 10:30 crude oil inventories, and another FOMC member Goolsby will also be speaking at 10:30. 12 o'clock, we have ECB President Lungardi speaking. So some big people speaking, and a couple of red items we've had today. So our news is going to be probably market moving, not to mention that we do have a lot of political stuff going on in the U.S. right now with the ongoing Trump uh, uh, indictment and trial that's actually going on for the New York State fraud. So lots of stuff going on right now. Um, Taking a look at the charts, we have broken now. We have a close below the channel line. So we have broken the channel. We'll have to see if this actually is able to hold. Ugly day yesterday. And where could we come back? We could easily bounce back into what was support becomes resistance. So this line of support now could be a resistance, so we could bounce. It looks like it tried to bounce into it overnight, but it could continue to try to bounce into resistance and be hopefully pushed away. At least that's the way it's supposed to work. Or we can, I think we could easily see us go back up to this low volume node right here. It's a big deep cut, 43.36, certainly plausible. On the downside, we could easily see this other low volume node of 42.01. So market's looking kind of ugly. Now, I did have a question from yesterday's video about the buy the dip folks. Okay, so the buy the dip folks in general are retail traders, and they say, "Oh, the market's down, I'm going to buy," and then they do, and they create a little bounce of some sort. And sometimes that is the bottom. Sometimes that is the it's bouncing. Okay, over here, buy the bounce people, started coming in here. Finally, it bounces and goes up. Okay, but there are occasions when it goes up and then it comes down and it takes out the low. And so when you have a pivotal bottom like that, and then we take it out, those people bail out. So all along here we've been talking about buy the dippers. Once the buy the dip crowd buys the dip for, say, theoretically the last time, and it goes down, they are the first ones to bail out. And usually you get, just like yesterday, when it took out that low, they just jumped in and dumped it. Now maybe they'll come back and there'll be more buy the dippers, but usually you don't get a bottom until the buy the dippers have been pushed out of the market. Also of interest is yesterday, look at our volume. Our volume was the highest volume in September and October. Had to go all the way back into August to find a similar volume. So decent volume. So volume confirmation on a down day. Really not much of a bounce yesterday. We could have more downside for sure. And the buy the dippers are probably getting nervous. Okay, so these are the guys who wait for price to go down. to buy on a down day. And then the next day is a down day and they buy a little bit more. And then they buy a little bit more. And then it looks really ugly, it starts to go down, and they all bail out. And that's what I'm looking at, whoosh at the end. So yeah, hopefully that explains more about that. Let's see what we've got here. The inventory is showing that it is doing what it's supposed to do. So inventory is down, the market was down, everybody's happy. Again, big price movement, very little inventory movement. So again, I think we still have people buying into these down whooshes, um, to the point that it's just there's still buyers, there's still support until we work through those people, and then we'll get a big time whoosh, and I think that the down move will be over. Looking at the intraday. So yeah, we had the ADP number was released in here, and again, you get kind of this rubber band effect of what could it be. This is at 8:15. Uh, is it good news? Is it bad news? So, the ADP number was really bad news for the economy. That being said, it also means that the Fed's not going to raise interest rates anymore. So, a great example of good news, bad news equaling good news. And it's kind of all crazy. Anyway, that being said, where do we have intraday support and resistance? First, let's look at the overnight move. We're at the highs of the day, 81 to 35. Yeah, it's about normal, maybe a little bit above normal from an intra overnight range perspective. We definitely have resistance at 4,300, 40. I'm going to say 4,320 and 4,350. Those are your overnight or intraday resistance areas. Support, obviously, probably the support we have in the near term is 4250. We have the overnight low at 4235. 4200 is going to be a big number. 4200 is actually a very big number. I'd be watching that one very, very closely. Stock Trader's Almanac for today, Wednesday, October 4th, is actually up 71.4% of the time. 71.4% of the time. So we have a very stacked bias to the upside for today. That's all I've got for you today. Hope you have a great day. Remember to subscribe, comment, and like.
Hey, thanks for watching the morning brief. Check out my website for more information, oneononetrading.com. Take a look at the Troy levels, a trade location finder for the futures markets. Help you find those levels of support and resistance that are just so hard to find. I also do personal coaching and mentorships. So go ahead and take a look at my website, oneononetrading.com. Thanks.